Hello everyone, this is the Ranting Shop. I am Melissa. Welcome in. We are here to talk about the Love is Blind reunion. And the general theme of this reunion was the contestants cutting accountability, putting it on other people, trying to equalize the hate and making themselves look worse. I just did not quite like the atmosphere, the vibe, or anything else. It just did not give what it was supposed to give. So let me get into my notes and let you guys know how I thought or what I thought about everything that took place. So first we had Taylor and Garrett. Not much to say there. They did not address the situation of him texting the ex, and I could only attribute that to the fact that it was a small issue, and now that they're not problematic, nobody has come out of the woodworks and said anything about Garrett, nobody has said anything about Taylor. It's like it's irrelevant. It was like a small blip, but I still feel like they should have addressed it since they were addressing everybody else's drama and tea, and maybe they could have spoken about how they overcame it and what they did to let that situation just be a thing of the past. That wasn't addressed. So all we know about them is they're going strong and that they go on fishing trips because Garrett likes to fish. He's brought other guys on there. He's modeled a bit. He's grown his hair. Nothing that we don't already know because we've been in these social media streets. None of how Garrett looks now has anything to do with Taylor, according to what Taylor said. So that was that. Tyler and Ashley, which is the couple everybody wanted to hear from. The people who predicted that she knew more than what we thought she knew was probably right. But again, does she just know what Tyler tells her, or does she know every single detail of what took place there? I have no clue. But I guess it only makes sense to assume that she believes the fact that he is a sperm donor, and whatever else is coming after that is probably as a result of some tumultuousness that took place with the whole arrangement. He mentions the fact that he was only helping out his friend when her wife left her. He stood by her and I guess fought for the child that supposedly he gifted to his friend. It's so weird hearing the ex-wife speak because it contradicts everything Tyler says in terms of him making it seem like he was just helping versus the ex-wife making it seem like he wanted to actively be a dad to all of the children. It's crazy to me. But Ashley has chosen her side, and she's chosen her side, and she's chosen the husband's side. So they all admitted he purposely lied on camera, which I still don't get the logic behind, because if it were to protect that family and those children, you notice how he said that family and those children, like he's trying to detach himself from the situation. It's so despicable. Do I feel like the ex-friend baby mama has feelings for him? Yes. Do I feel like that blurred the lines of, I guess, their business situation? It absolutely did. Like, anybody watching this would have said, don't do this with your so-called best friend. It's not gonna work well. Do it with a stranger. But because she already had feelings for this guy, she wanted to have the children with him, and that made the situation sticky. Now, I said if that was in fact his logic, which was to protect the family and those children, why wasn't it received that way from the baby mama? Ashley wants to be dumb for Tyler, and that's her business, is what I essentially said. Because I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's seen what the ex-wife has said. She's seen what the baby mama has said. And it's just very interesting that she's still choosing to stick by him despite all of this. And people in the comments are now defending her. Oh, she knows more than we know. We're just people that are nosy and blah blah blah. Okay, well, if she likes it, I love it. I have nothing more to say when it comes to Ashley and Tyler. He was quick to try and cry. What are you crying for? You're the one that ended up married. The ex-wife is left to take care of 3 children. I mean, not the ex-wife, but the baby mama is left to take care of 3 children with no dad. And you get to be married to a beautiful woman and live a fairy tale life. That is so unfair. Alright, so let's talk about... Well, I do have a couple clips of what Tyler said. I will play it in its entirety. And then I will play Ashley's response if I recorded it, because I'm not sure if I did.
When you revealed that you had donated sperm to help a friend and her wife have children. Yep. And then since then, there has been online chatter about your involvement in these children's life and it being more than you had initially led on. So can you now clarify what's going on with that?
Absolutely. Those kids, that family, they did not sign up for this. So what is happening now is I try to keep that from happening. The birth certificates are online. Things that shouldn't be happening are now happening. And to get into the story, I did help a friend, and her wife started a family, but her wife ended up leaving her and left her high and dry. This was my very close friend. So I voluntarily stepped in and helped. So there's pictures of me around. You'll see me around. I've spent holidays with all my friends, all their kids. And I play a part that became very shaky with a friend. And there's no rule books to this. There's no set lines to this. But I do want to let people know Ashley knows all this. This is news to the world. This has never been news to us.
It's funny, everyone kept saying, I said, a lot in the pods, but not today. I do have some things to say.
Please do.
Starting with, who do you think has better insight on what's going on, social media or me? So for people to imply that, she was blindsided, she didn't know, is, insulting to my intelligence. That's number one. Number two, for the record, this is something he never wanted to share on camera. I just didn't feel like it would be an authentic experience or that I could continue the experience if we didn't, because I know me, I cannot hide my facial expression, so I think there would have been a disconnect, and the viewers would have noticed, my friends would have noticed when he went to meet them, so I told him, in some capacity, we have to talk about this. And, there were things he was comfortable sharing and things he wasn't. For example, one time I asked him, I said, do they know what you look like? And he's like, I don't think so. And you could tell that he was trying to tell. Yeah. So of course he divulged that information. I'm so sorry. Let me say that he was trying to lie for the cameras, but you guys had already had this conversation. See, that's the thing is we weren't there. We weren't there for a couple other things. We'll get to later. Hey, Steven.
Thanks.
But you guys had this conversation, and I see that the next day for cameras, you're trying to clarify because you want to be authentic, but also you're trying to protect him and these children. The very thing that we didn't want to happen happened. And the thing with humanity is we have a hard time understanding anything that we don't get, anything that's taboo, anything that's out of our norm. And that's exactly what's happening. Instead of trying to rationalize, maybe this was hard to navigate, right? And for me, I just know Tyler and his heart to know that had to be hard to navigate with a friend. Way easier when you're removed. And with him growing up in a single parent household and in that scenario when that happened with the divorce, it was very hard for him to remove himself and not be involved when this is now a single mom, right? So that was hard for him. And I just know that he is a good person who went in a little too deep and didn't know what to do next.
This is not a game. This is till death do us part. And we mean it. You can try. We've seen all the get an annulment, be done with him. Ask Ashley.
And it's look. When I said I do to all of it. I was aware and I took on what I wanted to. And this is a once in a lifetime kind of love. Yeah. This is a rarity and it's something that is worth risking anything for. And, I ain't saying do nothing crazy. No. I'm saying, let's not get nuts. But, this is something that I knew, of course, if I listened to the public, I could go find a man. I could pump myself a little bit.
She can't find a man.
If I wanted to, but this is something that I would never find again. And it's...
But let's go over to Ramses and Marissa. So they both said it was hard to watch the whole breakdown. He said he thought he found love in Marissa, but recognized how different they were. He essentially said that her energy and vibe was too much for him and she exhausted him. The mom wanted to punch him in the throat. She says he did the right thing ultimately, but in doing so he broke her and the mom had to be there to gather up the pieces. And that's how breakups go. Typically the person that breaks up with the individual is never the person there to pick up the pieces. So that's just how that happens. he regrets not being more forthcoming with his doubts and his feelings. He kind of did lead her on, and he's regretting doing so. He realized it later in the experience that it wasn't going to work. At no point did Ramses ever provide an ultimatum for Marissa in regards to the birth control conversation. So in that stance, he was defending that whole birth control thing of, I guess, the social media group thinking, or social media people or fans, thinking that he was giving Marissa an ultimatum. He's saying he did not. And in fact, Marissa confirmed it when she went on, I believe it was the Vial Files or whatever podcast she went on. She said that they did explore alternative forms of contraception, and he was very much there to facilitate it and help her and encourage the situation along. So it's not like he just, gave her this and left. Now let's go over to Nicholas and Hannah. Now, she just basically justified her behavior on the show by saying she's a blunt person and she just needs to be careful of how she says things. Nick felt the delivery could have been better, and he also felt like she was contradictory with what she was saying. Now, in me listening to a lot of what Hannah was saying on this show, it sounds to me like she was trying to convince herself that she was into Nick. So her making it seem on this reunion like it's just this one-sided situation where Nick wasn't attracted to her, Nick was saying this about her and that about her. I also feel like she was not into Nick as well. The difference is she's not interested or willing to say it out loud because people already dislike her, and she doesn't want people to dislike her even more. So instead, she's gonna put it on Nick and tell people that Nick said she looked like a grenade or whatever she said. And initially, I really had no issue with Hannah. I was like, okay, I would be annoyed with him too. But at this reunion, she really irritated me and she really made me mad because I felt like she used this reunion to make Nick equal to her in regards to being bad guys. So she didn't want to just take on the burden herself. She also wanted to string Nick along and make people see that Nick wasn't as innocent as he made himself be on the show. And I did get the vibe that, okay, he's not as innocent as he made himself look. However, if she thinks that people are just now gonna side with her now, that's ultimately a false narrative. That did not do what she thought it was going to do. Her coming down on Nick as hard as she did, tie in Marissa, tag teaming to come after Nick. I do understand, okay, Nick is not as innocent. Nick said stuff too, Nick did stuff too. I understand it. However, it did not make Hannah less unlikable. People still don't like her. People are still doubling down for Nick. And what really annoyed me, Hannah finds out one of Nick's goals because after they left each other's apartment, she went through his things and she saw one of his, what it was, a 90-day goal thing, and one of his goals were to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. And my response to that was, what's wrong with that? And the reason why this was my response was, every reunion, every freaking reunion, these people make it such a big deal to call out other contestants about wanting fame and not being there for real reasons and not being there for love and leading people on. And I am sick of it. I am sick of it. It's the self-righteousness that I hate, because we as viewers already know that anybody that comes on this show, they're doing it for fame, period. Nobody's doing this with the ultimate goal of finding somebody to be with for the rest of their life. Let's be real, because if they really did, like, there's so many dating platforms, there's so many people you could meet at grocery stores and in clubs and in parks, that is like not really the most realistic avenue to go on, you know, unless you want some sort of fame. Let's keep it real. And it's really interesting how Hannah is coming for Nick, talking about, oh, it made me question, like, was he here for the right reasons? Just cut the bull. I'm so sick of this narrative, because even Hannah doing this whole weight loss transformation, to me, makes it more evident that she wants the fame more than Nick does. She did this whole weight loss thing, and she made sure all her ducks are in a row for her to be a social media influencer. So for her to come at Nick as if it's just Nick that wants this, when it's also her and so many other of the other contestants, I hate it, and it's ridiculous and it's unfair. So as I said, I just hate that the contestants pretend that they're not also clout chasing, because they completely are. And I noticed a lot of people turned on Marissa because she decided to wear a cape for Hannah, and people already dislike Hannah. And so there's that for Marissa's likability, I guess. Marissa comes to her defense and questions Nick's genuinity. Hannah calls Nick out for being disrespectful off camera. And she also mentioned all the girls were DMing her about Nick wanting to bring girls on the reunion. That is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, you guys are not together. So how is it your business if he DMs someone to come on the reunion? To me, that's just messy, irrelevant information. At some point, I felt like Hannah kept throwing things at the wall to see what was gonna stick to make people dislike Nick, and it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. And another reason why people still don't like Hannah is because she never really took accountability for her actions. She just justified it by saying that's the type of person she is, essentially, you know. Now, she looks like a grenade was the thing. I guess she told Steven that, and Steven ended up pillow talking with Monica. Monica ended up telling the other girls. For me, it's like, whatever. You didn't like Nick either, Hannah. Let's stop playing games at this point. Let's cut to the damn chase. You didn't like Nick either. So Nick calling you a grenade did not affect you, but you're going to use that to make yourself seem like a victim and him to seem like the perpetrator, when that's not even the case. You know what I'm saying? Right? So they're trying to make Nick the villain now, so some hate gets spread to Nick. But as I said, I don't think it will work. If anything, people will feel like Hannah deserved it. Okay? And I feel like that's still the narrative. So mission failed. Very much failed. Now, Marissa should have minded her business. Marissa had a lot of mouth for Nick and Hannah's relationship, something that had nothing to do with her, but her ass was silent when it came to Ramses. In fact, she was so soft on Ramses, it baffled me. She was coming to his defense on her social media platform, on multiple podcasts, but had zero smoke for Ramses, and all of the smoke for Nick. I found that to be crazy and backwards. Now, Marissa admits that she was still effing Ramses. And after the breakup and everything, like after this guy told you he didn't want you, you cried and asked to be with him again. He still told you no. And you decided, okay, well, let me accept crumbs. Is sex still on the table? Okay, I'll take the sex. Are you not embarrassed, Marissa? Are you not embarrassed? You should be disgusted with yourself for even admitting this, because I would have kept that stuff to myself. And Ramses was like, why is this girl bringing up our business at this point? Like, I don't want nobody to know I had any more to do with Marissa. And here she is bringing up our business. That's crazy. I said, are you not embarrassed, bitch? Like, for real. Now, Ramses did not want that information put out there, like, because when they panned over to his face, he kind of looked down in shame. Like, I don't know why what was the point just trying to prove by doing all this? Now, this reunion is what is making me not like Hannah. I said that already. She blabs away about why. Because they posted a clip. They showed a clip of her bestest friend in the whole world, which she met a couple of months prior in the pods. All of a sudden, that's her best friend. She talking about, oh, she trying to like talk her way out of saying that she didn't trust the best friend. And all I heard was blah, 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 nonsense, papi show, shut up. That's all I heard was nonsense. And she's like, let's move. Essentially, her whole thing was yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I said this. I was mad. So what? Let's move on. She didn't take accountability. She didn't, none of that. Her stance is defense. I came here to defend myself because everybody thinks I'm this way. And she still came out looking horrible. Now, Leo and Brittany. So I don't too care about this couple, but he did apologize to Hannah about how he, crashed out that time that Hannah was like, okay, I'm moving on. He apologized for telling people that it was a mutual breakup when he was broken up with. Brittany makes mention of the awkward meeting, and she said it wasn't because of him. She was meeting a stranger. She knew they were the weakest link and hence wouldn't make it. Which is, I think production told them like they were not gonna go to the honeymoon phase because I guess they saw that the relationship was not going to work. So, but this is the first time I think that Love is Blind has ever gave people this amount of airtime when it doesn't pan out for the rest of the show. Like, this is the first time. Normally they'll just cut the people off at the pods, but for Leo and Brittany, they let us see them even out of the pods. I found that to be crazy. That's not something they normally do. So despite them not being able to go to Cabo, they still took a trip, and she said that he did things that annoyed her, like when they ordered drinks, he'd take a sip of her drink, and she thought that was annoying. Brittany's in a relationship, Leo is not, but they're really good friends. Now, Steven and Monica, the sleep study scandal. I'm confused why he say he wrote them a letter. So basically, he was apologizing. Well, yes, I did this. And let's not beat up this dead horse. I did it. I admitted that I did it. It is what it is, right? And Monica wanted to press more on it, but Steven shut that down and was like, we spoke about that a year ago. We got over it. Let's not rehash this and open this up again because it makes no sense. Which I agree with. And Monica's face was like a sourpuss, like, why can't I rehash it and like talk about it and bash you? Because that's what I want to do. So he said he sent her parents a letter to, I should say, to what? To apologize for his actions. And Monica's reaction was, I knew you would do that. The moment you told me you sent my parents a letter, I knew you would use it to I knew you would bring it up on the reunion. And I was like, so what? If he sent the letter, why can't he say he sent the letter? Because she's looking at it as he's trying to escape accountability by telling the viewers that he already apologized for it. But if he already apologized for it, what's the sense in bringing it up and bashing him again? I know that's what the reunion is for, but I feel like us viewers, knowing that this reunion takes place a year after and having seen so much reunion shows, it's like, yeah, why are you? For some reason, I did not receive Monica's response the way I typically do, where I'm like, yeah, get him. I was more like, Monica, shut up. Like, yeah, he did it. He said he did it. He never said he didn't do it. He never lied about it. He said he did it. It really made no sense to like hold him to it. Like, he already admitted to it. Let it go, like. And he brought up the letter. So what? He sent a letter. He sent a letter. I guess he wanted the viewers to know that this is the extent to which I apologize. What's wrong with that, you know? So then we go over to Alex and Tim. There was an argument at some point because to me it stemmed from a lack of communication from Alex. So Alex had issues. Her father had some health issues, which she found out about on the show. And I guess the way she responds and reacts to turmoil is for her to have space. She needs space away from people. She doesn't want to explain. She doesn't want to talk about it. She just wants time to feel her feelings and be by herself, right? Her problem was she didn't communicate that to Tim. I feel like that could have all been avoided if she simply told Tim, my dad is having issues. I'm going through it emotionally because of that. Can you please give me some space? I need to be able to, go through my feelings and deal with this by myself. That's all she had to tell Tim. She never said that to Tim. Tim was trying to be there for her, and I guess Tim felt frustrated because he's trying to be there for her and she's just closing up on him. She's not being open. She's not being transparent. She's not letting him in, and she was frustrated by it, and she ended up calling him a little B. He gets annoyed and upset. He starts yelling. Apparently his hands were in her face, her hands were over his mouth. I was confused because at one point Tim says, yes, she puts her hand over my mouth. And then when she says she didn't, he says, I admit she did not physically put her hand over my mouth. But then he goes back after that to say she did put her hands on him. So I'm so confused. Like, did the girl put her hands on you, or are you trying to make yourself seem like a victim? Like, what is it? Because I'm confused. Okay? She said she felt disrespected, and at the end of the day, in my opinion, all these people had to do was communicate about what the issue was. Alex explains why she had to nap before work. She essentially said she works at a bar and does some other things, and on that day that the parents came, she had to work at the bar an hour later. So she decided to take the time to nap after talking to his parents for 5 hours. So he essentially said he felt like the amount of energy he was putting in the relationship, Alex was not. And that was ultimately the demise of their relationship. Alex was confused because how could you speak to my dad, my ailing father, my dad who gave me to you, and then afterwards you discard me, like I don't want her anymore. She felt discarded, and I feel as if this couple's issue was simply communication, and that's it. As much as you may feel like you like somebody in the pause and you'll click and you'll connect, there's isms that everybody has, and it's either you can get past it or you can't. I still feel like it was for the best for them to separate and go their different ways, because clearly they communicate in completely different ways. I think maybe Alex is more the detached type of individual, and Tim seeing the detached nature of Alex, panicked and became anxious. And so that dynamic created for a big blowout, which caused the demise of their situation. And that was that. So anyways, you guys, is there anything that I'm missing? I think I've said everything I needed to say. Garrett was so over it when they were going back and forth. They were like, this is like so stupid, like tit for tat, or you did this to me, but I did this to you, and it was just a lot. And I agree with Taylor on that. So anyways, you guys, let me know what you thought of the reunion of season 8 spoilers are already coming out about season 7. Spoilers are already coming out on season 8, so we can't wait for this to just leave us, and for us to be at peace for a little bit before the next Love is Blind comes along. Anyways, engage me, you guys, in the comment section. Share your opinions, share your thoughts, share your feelings. If you disagree, let me know. If you agree, let me know. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.